There's only one thing that's running through my soul, and that is
Happy New Year. Happy Hump Day. This is the Crimson Dynasty. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen y'all, at least on this show. So we are happy to be here. And go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button before we get started. Now, my name is Sishi. I'm the host here, but we do have two awesome co-hosts. This is the Crimson Dynasty. We're one of the shows here on the Bama Standard Network. And so I know that a lot of you are not unfamiliar with this network, but our co-hosts, we do have Dan James IV and also JB, and they're both actually a part of other shows on the program, so they'll mention those towards the end. But go ahead and hit up that live chat. We like to see your questions, your comments. We will have a Q&A segment towards the end, so go ahead and add your questions, any ideas or anything like that, and then we'll try to highlight some of them as we move forward. Now, before we get started, I do want to shout out one of our sponsors, Lambstone Company. So we always tell you that if you're looking for a beautiful natural stone to add around your home, do not settle for subpar materials. Why would you do that? Just visit realrockstone.com and check out their selection of natural products. They'll actually meet all of your needs, whatever you're looking for. They're located in Oneonta, Alabama, and they're one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. So contact them today and tell them that we sent you by using promo code the Bama Standard to receive 10% off of your first order. Now, if you're watching us right now on X, be sure to go to YouTube and search us on there, the Bama Standard, and be sure to subscribe because that's our main network, but we do like to engage with our X base as well. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I mean, we have a lot to talk about. I know that the football season for us is over, but we have had some changes since then. The first thing that I want to talk about, though, is some of the changes from a coaching perspective, because we know that our co-defensive coordinator, Coach Hitschler, was fired. I believe it was about a week ago. He's also the DB coach, and one of our current players, he was not shy with words. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., who's the son of Dre Kirkpatrick, I think he kind of slipped up, but it did show us kind of how maybe some of the players felt in regard to him, where essentially the news clipping of Hitschler being fired, he essentially reposted it and he basically said, "Thank the Lord." So I do believe that maybe some of the players kind of wanted to see some changes at that particular coaching position, but I want to get y'all's take, because we're hearing a lot as far as like the OC, for example, different names being thrown out there. You know, you have Ryan Grubb, who just got, let go by the Seattle Seahawks. And we do know that Coach Saban tried to get him back in 2023. And then Coach DeBoer tried to bring him in last year. And of course, he took that Seahawks job. So I want to get y'all's takes on this. I mean, how do you feel about us potentially getting Ryan Grubb? And then also, are there any other coaches who may be on the hot seat? Could it be Freddie Roach, maybe Jamarcus Shepard? Is there anyone else that we want to mention? JB, I hear you making some sounds over there, so it sounds like you think about somebody. So I'm gonna ask you first, what are your thoughts first on Coach Hitschler being fired, the possibility of getting Coach Ryan Grubb for the OC role, and then any other coaches that may be on the hot seat?
The Coach Hitschler fire, it caught me off guard because I thought the secondary played really well, especially late in the season. Mm-hmm. I thought he was doing a good job, but that's us on the outside looking in. We don't know what happened in the locker room and behind the scenes. So, and you mentioned Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., what he said, and me, it was wrong, but they're kids, so you gotta let it fly sometimes. Herman Edwards always said, "Don't press send." When you if it's on your mind, just don't press it. Yeah. But it is what it is. So I think it'll be more changes, like you mentioned. Ryan Grubb coming in, hopefully. He got fired. The Seattle Seahawks fired him on Monday, and he's tied him and the boys like this. They're real close. They have a lot of history together. Hopefully, we can get them in, and doesn't mean we can fire Sheridan. Maybe we bump him down to another position. We've been talking about that a lot. A lot of people want Sheridan to go, but I don't know. I don't know how close they are. They seem to be really close, and the board seems to have his guys coming in. He kept a lot of well, a few other guys from Saban's staff, kept them in last season, kind of hold the fort down. Now he's bringing more of his guys in. We got a new linebackers coach. But to answer your question about more coaches that more coaching changes, maybe the O-line coach. Maybe the O-line coach. But he's still working because he was in Montgomery the other day down here at Culver High School, Coach Cap, and he has history here in the Gump. He used to coach at Alabama State 2004, the SWAC champion Alabama State Hornets. He was assistant coach on that staff, 21 years ago. So he has history down here. Maybe he was scouting. He sees some guys. We have to get that in-state talent. We have to get that talent because Auburn has been getting it, and we can't let these in-state guys get away. That's the foundation of so who knows, man? Coach Shep, you mentioned him. I don't know. I hadn't heard anything about Coach Shep. A lot of people want him to call plays. I'm iffy about it because I don't know if he's ever called plays, but I don't know. We'll see. It's the beginning because coaching changes seem to start right here at the beginning of the year. These next couple weeks, we may see some heads roll. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, I agree. And like you said, with I think O-line coach Kaplovic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you said, the importance of him going down to Alabama State and just having that in-state presence, it makes a huge difference. It definitely does. Well, then, Dan, I'll ask you the same question. So what are your thoughts on us firing Coach Hitschler? Like, did that come to a surprise for you? And then how do you feel about, a lot of chatter with Ryan Grubb possibly coming to Alabama? Because even looking at some of his history, of course, he's been working with Coach DeBoer literally over 10 years when you look at his history at Sioux Falls and Fresno State and Washington. And I saw that Ryan Grubb, they had him listed as the run game coordinator as well a few years back. I believe maybe at Sioux Falls, somewhere he was at, but they had him listed as also the run game coordinator. So that there were questions from some fans saying, well, even if we get Ryan Grubb, what does that mean for the running backs? You have Jam Miller coming back, and how would they feel about that? So that can kind of speak to that as well. But what are your thoughts on Hitchler getting fired and then the possibility of getting Ryan Grubb? And then are there any other coaches that you believe might be on the hot seat?
Yeah, as far as Hitchler, I was kind of surprised by it, but you peeling back the layers, it just didn't seem to be a good fit, with the staff. So that there was some things going on, which led to it. But as far as Ryan Grubb, you got to remember it won't affect Nick Sheridan because Nick Sheridan was originally on the staff, staff that the board brought in. So he has a working relationship with Ryan Grubb. The issue is, Ryan Grubb is not the decision maker right here. It's the wife.
True.
So the wife loves the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? She don't want to uproot the family. She loves it there. But listen, you know what I'm saying? We'll see how much he loves it when the man's not working.
That's what I was going to say, because it's one thing with him still being employed with the Seahawks and us pushing to get him, but with him being fired, I mean,
that might change some things. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I expect other changes to happen. We also hired a defensive back coach, Jason Jones. What capacity he'll be working with the team is to be determined, I guess. People been asking about Freddie Roach. Is he on the hot seat? No, but I think with the way the defensive line has been performing, it's been constant, not excellent. It's been there. It's just never progress. Guys never develop, under him. So we'll see how that goes, because he's probably our best recruiter on the staff. He has he's a great relationship builder, but it's some kind of disconnect. He was a big time linebacker for us. So maybe we can use him in some other capacity. So Coach Cap, the guys love him. This offensive line class he brought in, phenomenal. So we will see. But I expect the board to make some changes. And hey, he's been quick with making changes, so that's one thing, that I appreciate about Coach DeBoer, because, something had to shake, we see that, he's making the changes because he know, the Alabama fan base is very impatient.
Yeah.
We've been spoiled by he's the guy, to come behind Nick Saban for a reason. So we're gonna give him a chance. But I think getting Ryan Grubb will help out tremendously. So we'll see, but new quarterback, we got a lot of guys coming back, we'll get into later, but I expect us to make a turn year 2.
Yeah, I agree. And we have to remember too, as a fan base, and it's been officially a year since Coach Saban retired. I remember it was around this time last year. And when Coach DeBoer got hired, he really didn't have a lot of time he really had to hit the ground running as far as finding coaches and all of that. And so we have to kind of keep that in perspective as well, that maybe, the coaches that we had, I mean,
it's been a year since I drunk a gallon of bleach.
Hey, I remember that episode we did here because we were supposed to have Crimson Dynasty that night, and he dropped the news on a Wednesday, and so we had to bring everybody else on, and but
and I was livid.
Yeah. Well, and I'll post that question to the chat as well. Who do you feel like? Who may be on the hot seat as far as the coaches? And I think it's a good segue into our next topic as well. We're talking about the changes and the improvements that we need to see as far as the coaches, but what about position groups? Because some of us have sat here this past season talking about pretty much the same thing week in, week out, and it kind of ties into possible coaching changes because there are certain groups, like offensively, I would personally say the O-line. I definitely think that some changes need, because how many times this past season did we see, it just kind of unfold before our eyes? I mean, it just kind of blew up in our faces. And there were certain plays where, Milroe could have done better. Of course, he, just seeing the receivers, we're not going to even go down that path. But there were times where the O-line did make it easy for him as well. They didn't give him much time. And so we're excited about having Keelan Russell. That's good. But what would that really mean if he doesn't have time to get the ball off? So we have to really, consider all of that. So I would say personally on the offense, I'm more so looking at the O-line that we need to see some improvement on. And then from the defensive perspective, the defensive line, but more so, I would say the guys on the edge, coming off the edge, because we know Q-Rob, he announced that he's going to the draft. We know he ended the season, it was an injury, but it would have been great if he could have came back, right? But now he's going to the draft. And we're going to go through some of the guys that'll still be at Alabama and then the ones that are coming in later. But I'm just curious what that's going to look like, because that makes a huge difference, especially, in the SEC and going against these tougher teams throughout the regular season. So, Dan, I'll start with you. Are there any specific groups offensively and defensively that you feel like need to improve the most?
Oh, yeah. Oh man.
Is that many?
Where can we start? Yeah.
Lord.
Obviously, the quarterback position, that we need to improve there. Get more production out of the running backs, which would consist of turning around, handing the ball to the running back. More pressure from the edge, so we got to improve our pass rush. It's a whole lot easier, when you get teams, you stop the run, number one, then you get pressure on the quarterback. It's pretty much that simple. So if we can improve that in those two aspects, I think we will have success, but we had a problem, we let teams go on long drives, couldn't get off the field, winning third down. We let teams go on long drives, and that's never good, especially when your offense is sputtering. So we either need to control the ball or we need to be able to get off the field. So we got to improve. So it's going to take some soul searching on both sides of the ball. But one starts with setting the damn edge on the run. That doesn't take talent.
That's true.
That does not take talent at all, believe it or not, y'all. It takes effort. That's all.
Yeah.
It takes effort to just set a hard edge on the run. That makes things a whole lot easier for everyone else.
That's true.
Yeah, so that just a heart, matter of heart. That's all it is. So we get better at that. We should have success, but we have to be able to set the edge against the run, and be able to contain the run a little bit better. We weren't bad. We've improved, but there's a lot of opportunity. When we couldn't get off the field when we needed to.
Well, I see the stadium behind you, Dan. So it looked like they hired you for something out there. Or?
Hey, I've been out here watching over it. We're back at it. All right, y'all. All right. We're split up in your groups. Yeah.
Right. We still lanking over here. So
that's right. Now we ain't lanking no more. We ain't lanking no more. Lanking stink.
I know.
Stink.
Can't really say that right now. No, I agree. I agree with you. So JB, what are your thoughts offensively and defensively? What position groups would you say need to improve the most?
Man, Dan said a bunch. Hard to go behind Dan, but the obvious answer, the trenches, like somebody in the chat just said, the trenches, both sides, But I'm gonna go a little further. I'm gonna say linebacker, because we're losing a lot of production with Jahad Campbell leaving. You mentioned Q-Rob. I'm sure if he had more eligibility, he would have came back. He had an injury. He had no more eligibility, so he had to leave. Justin Jefferson, he's back though. So that's good. And Lawson. So we just need more guys. We need guys to be in that position. Like Dan always say, set, the gap control. You got to have that gap control. You got to stay in your positions. I want to see who's going to step up, because Jahad Campbell, first round talent, he's probably going to go first round in the draft. That's a big loss. We need somebody else to step up. We need somebody else to be their tech dog on that from that linebacker position. And I want to see who come off the edge as well. Who's going to be, what is the wolf? Who's going to be the wolf? And who's going to play like a wolf? So I want to see all that. And, it's January, it's early, but spring is right around the corner. Once we get through this cold front, spring is coming. They're going to get right back out there popping pads. And I want to see what this linebacker coach do. I want to see if he brings something different that we didn't see last year.
Yeah.
Because the defense in totality played very well. But we have to, it starts up front. The front seven, or whatever you want to call it, front seven. They have to get pressure on the quarterback, and they have to get tackles for loss. Once we get tackles for loss, get them behind the chains, then you can relax a little bit on the back end. If your guys up front are getting to the quarterback and, tackling the running backs behind the chains.
Right. I want to ask y'all one question, because you made me think about it as you were talking. I'm curious if, so Jahad Campbell, he declared for the draft, and I believe that was the right move for him. But I'm curious, so once Justin Jefferson found out, and this had more to do with that Vanderbilt QB, but that ruling that was made by the NCAA to allow like JUCO transfers to have that extra year of eligibility, I wonder how much of an impact that had on Deontay Lawson choosing to come back. You know what I mean? Like, not that he made the decision to return because Justin Jefferson is returning, but I just wonder to some degree if that kind of played into it, because we know that we're going to be missing a huge, productive person in regards to Jahad. But do y'all feel like that had anything to do with Deontay Lawson's decision?
That's a good
Whichever
question.
one.
I say the injury, man. The way he ended the season off, and from my understanding, he didn't have a high draft grade. He played well in spurts. He didn't have an outstanding season. He played pretty good, but I think he could have played better. He probably knows he could have played better, and that injury didn't help him out. It really didn't help him out. So you got to rehab. You got to come back. You got the extra year, use it, and you probably getting good NIL. So come on back, bro.
All right.
Yeah. You got any thoughts, Dan? I mean, do you feel the same or?
Yeah, I think he is very, very beneficial, and that's the way NIL should be used to to bring back guys that are proven.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with guys that been in the system and paid their dues, getting money to come back to school. That's what it's intended for. That's the way it should be used, and having him back, second year, as the green dot guy, having him back, another year. So that's tremendous. He was learning the defense himself. He had to learn that on the go real fast. But having a year under his belt, and we got young guys coming in, so it's tremendous to have a veteran presence in the linebacker room, be able to help develop guys. So yes,
exactly,
tremendous.
And that's the key point, is that development. We do have a super chat that we want to shout out before we move on to the next topic. Shout out to Don Parker. Thank you for the super chat. Said it before, now said it again. The board needs to build teams that dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball to win championships. That's it. And maybe we'll see that this year. I mean, I feel like it's okay to have hope, right? I mean, after this past season, we can only hope for better. That's where I'm at right now, honestly. I mean, look, and it's gonna start, like y'all said, overall in its totality, our defense was good this season. They stayed on the field longer than they probably should have in a few games, but ultimately they were good, So we'll see.
But I think dominate the line of scrimmage on offense.
Let them know. Link,
run the ball.
Run the ball.
Run the sticking ball.
Yeah, offensive linemen love to fire off the ball. Trust me.
Right. Shout out to Smoke Man. Thank you for the super chat. We need players who want to be at Bama, not fair weather fans, fair weather players. Roll Tide Roll. I agree. That's what I'm questioning. Like, is this certain names that came up in the portal where I'm just like, really? But you were sold out coming in, and more so the freshmen, but we ain't gonna call them out right now. So but I will pose that question to the chat, because we're gonna move on to our next topic and kind of hit on the transfer portal additions that we have. But I do want to get y'all's takes as we're naming some of the guys. Now I'm gonna start with offense though, because some of these guys, they committed to Alabama maybe over the last couple of weeks, but of course Crimson Dynasty, we had 2 holidays over the last couple of weeks, so we weren't here. But as some of you know, we did pick up the wide receiver from Miami, Isaiah Horton, and now that's a huge win for Alabama, considering what we've lost: Emmanuel Henderson Jr., Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, and so that is a key position that we wanted to not just get someone to come in, but someone that had experience. He had the 3rd highest number receiving yards at Miami this past season, so he's had a good game as far as, or a good season this past year. And I don't know, I'm excited to see him join our group of receivers. I think he's going to be very impactful. But there were 2 offensive linemen that we also picked up, one from Texas A&M, Cam Dewberry, and then the guy recently from Ball State, Arkel Anugwam. So that's going to be a good addition, especially because we lost McVay and I believe Betron and maybe another guy or 2. So those are some names as far as the offensive line, because I know that we've been kind of talking about the offensive line and just what we need to see there change. A couple of other names that I'm going to mention on offense, and then I want to get y'all's takes before I move to defense. So offensively, I believe as of yesterday, sometime this week, we picked up another running back, and now this is huge because we had Justice Haynes transfer to Michigan, and then we lost, of course, Turbo Rogers coming in this season. So we did pick up Draylon Washington from Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, and this guy, he's good. This would be his last year of eligibility, but he's had, some pretty big games. He had over 120 rushing yards in one of their games, I believe, against Arkansas State. Had a good game as well against Southern Miss. So this is a good addition to that running back room. And then also we picked up a tight end, Peter Knudsen from Webster State. Now that's FCS, but he's been there. He was there for quite some time. And so I think just considering the fact that CJ Dupree is going to the draft and you have Robbie Oots, who is pretty much out of eligibility at this point, it's good to get Peter to come in along with who we already have. And shortly, pretty soon, we're going to go through the additions and then the guys that are returning. But I want to get y'all's takes really quickly on offense, and then we'll talk about defense. So JB, really quickly on offense, these names that I just mentioned, whether it's the 2 offensive linemen, Cam Dewberry or Arkel from Ball State, whether it's Isaiah Horton from Miami, or even Draylon Washington, Peter Knudsen, are these big wins for Alabama? I mean, sometimes people look at the school that they're coming from and they may try to write the guys off, but how do you feel about the offensive guys?
Yeah. I wouldn't say big wins. I'm going to say medium-sized wins, right? Mm-hmm. We get guys. Now, Horton's a big win. I like Horton. I think he'd come in and contribute just like Jeremy Bernard did for us. He's perfect fit. We needed a big receiver. He can come in, be the 3rd receiver or whatever, and he goes off. The running back, I thought about it, like, why are we getting a running back? I looked him up. I said, okay, he's legit.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna come in and fight Jam Miller for starting position and Richard Young. He's gonna come in, probably be a scat back, maybe come in and spell some guys. He's gonna have to earn his position though. You play at Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. You ain't come from another SEC power school,
right?
So you're gonna have to come in here and earn your keep, just like all the other guys. The lineman from Ball State will probably be a rotational piece, big guy. Dewberry probably will start now.
Yeah,
you like Dewberry. I think he'll probably start. But all the other guys just gotta come in and earn your keep. Big size moves, in my opinion.
And Dewberry, he's one of those interior linemen. So he's interior, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then that's important to note as well. And then Dan, from your perspective, offensively, are these big wins for us? I mean, who do you feel like can probably get out there and start immediately?
Yeah, two of them were big wins. Cam Dewberry, especially with Tyler Booker. Announcing, so Cam Dewberry, I expect him to come in and start. Isaiah Horton, he's a Coach Shep type receiver, 6'3" outside. You look at the receivers he sent to the draft in Washington, big guys, physical, can play through contact, be able to, fight off, hand fight, not get knocked off a route. So, huge win for those two. The Arkell and Rugun, whatever. Now I know I butchered it, but I wouldn't say a depth piece yet. I think he's more developmental piece. Draylon Washington. The thing about him, when Justin Haynes announced that he was entering the transfer portal, it didn't catch the staff by surprise, but they knew that they wanted to go and get another running back, because you want to have 6 running backs on scholarship. That's always been the number. You got to have 6 running backs on scholarship, for depth purposes. And you don't want to backfill with high school guys. You got to bring in somebody that is experienced, and a depth piece. No pad, understand pad pro concept. So he's another depth piece. Now he's considered a depth piece. I think that was it on offense. The tight end. I don't know what capacity he'll be added to the roster yet. So other than what we saw on Twitter or whatever.
Right.
But the big wins, without a doubt, Cam Dewberry, 6'4", 320-pound guard. He can play a little tackle. Could possibly slide out and play right tackle. Isaiah Horton, tremendous win, experience, physicality. Maybe another guy that can block when we want to run tunnel screens.
Yeah.
Those two are the ones that stand out for me, and I categorize those as big wins.
Gotcha. Okay. And then as far as defensively from the portal, we did pick up 3 guys. So we did get the DB. Now he can play cornerback and safety, Cam Calhoun from Utah. Really good player. This guy is going to be integral to our defensive back room. Then we also got edge Kelby Collins from Florida, and he's really good as well. He didn't play much this past season, but the season before he did. And then also the linebacker from Colorado, Nikai Hill-Green. So he's good as well. He was rated as one of the top linebackers in the portal. So those are some big wins as well. Really quickly, I want to address the super chat, and then we're going to, Kelby was injured this season, so that's why he didn't play as much at Florida. Let's get this. Right. Okay. Another super chat from Smoke Man. Thank you. Look at what Coach D is recruiting. He is recruiting an O-line that can actually move and block. That hurt Milrow and made him jumpy. Film doesn't lie. Yeah. The O-line has been an issue for the past couple of years, it seems like, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's been an issue for some time. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, let's move forward. We actually have we don't want to just talk about the transfer portal. We want to talk about the guys that are returning. We don't even want to give too much light on, the ones who left Alabama. Let's focus on the ones who are staying. So we actually put together some graphics that we want to show just so that we can kind of see who it, and we kind of broke it up by defense and then by position group. So we already mentioned a few guys in the portal. Of course, we have Cam Calhoun here. It's a total of, I believe.
Look at that secondary.
I know it's a total of 14, right? I mean, this is crazy. So the guys that we have coming in from the 2025 class, the John Lee guy, he goes off. He's gonna go ham. He's going, and then I believe Damani Jackson. Yeah, Damani Jackson is coming. I mean,
yeah.
Can we just say Natty? I mean, y'all just put in the live chat hashtag Natty. Just put hashtag. I mean, I'm just saying, like, this is crazy because, of course, we lost Devontae Smith to the portal, Malachi Moore going to the draft. I mean, you look at some of those moving parts, right? But then we have Keon Sapp. He announced that he's coming back. Look at this. Ivan Taylor coming in with the 2025 class. Like, look, y'all better get me because this in and of itself. What do y'all think? And look, y'all just jump in. Say how you feel. How do you feel about this? What does this look like? Do you see possibly any of them hitting the portal maybe after spring? What do you think?
Possibly.
Slim. This I'd say, it's always possible. Yeah, because some guys gonna. That spring game afterwards, they're gonna tell it all after that,
Yeah.
So, but what we got there, what I'm saying? It's probably one. I expect one contributor, to exit. So we'll see.
Yeah. Dejon Lee, is he a day one starter? Dan, what you thinking?
It's gonna be tough. It's really gonna be tough for him to crack the rotation. He may be contribute. He may become, the third cornerback, a la Mbakwe. What we did with Mbakwe going to offense. So he may be that third corner. In that role, we rotated a lot. So he's gonna play. He's gonna be a day one contributor. Yeah. But as far as starting, it's tough to beat probably the best corner tandem in the country in Xavier Brown,
yeah.
Money Jackson,
Money Jackson,
yeah. And I should have added wide receiver to Jalen Mbakwe as well. I'm curious if that's solidified though. Like if we know for sure that that's the move going forward, and I don't think we know that just yet.
No, probably not. He may play both ways. I don't know. It remains to be seen how much wide receiver he does play, and if he moves all the way to wide receiver, we still have a lot of depth right here in the secondary.
Yeah, I like this, and especially with Cam Calhoun coming in, because he's one of those guys where he's going to be able to just fill in the need. Yep. You know what I mean? Maybe it's going to be a matter of learning the playbook to some degree with what Kane Womack wants to do, but. What do y'all think in the chat? I mean, I know, and the reason why we wanted to put this together is because we say all these names, and then you try to kind of correlate it with the guys. And keep in mind that this is not a comprehensive list. So when you look at our roster, you'll see other names as well. But when we think about the guys that we've talked about a lot here, those are the ones that we wanted to list here. So just keep that in mind, because I don't want y'all coming for us like, oh, you left out so and so. So, but let's move on to the next group of players. Let's see who we have next. So. Let's see if the slide changes. All right. So then looking at just the defensive line in its totality, even the edge rushers as well. And I'm not going to go through each and every one of them, but look, because we were just talking about, with Q-Rob going to the draft and then of course Keanu at Vanderbilt now, what is that going to look like as far as that wolf position? And then whether that's, Quay Rousseau, whoever it's going to be. We didn't see much of Noah Carter at all, which I don't know if he was injured. Do y'all know?
No, he arrived on campus late, so he was kind of behind,
Okay, yeah, because I think he only played in one game. But then just getting a look at who we have coming in with London Simmons. Of course, we talked about him a lot. But then the thing that stood out to me is when you see all the guys who transferred from Alabama, then you see the guys who entered the draft. Look at the ones who are staying. These are guys who made an impact all season this past year, whether it's Tim Keenan III, he could have gone to the draft. Jamarian, all these LTO, he could have gone to the draft. So to me, it's easy to sit there and put focus on the ones who are leaving. But when you look at the ones who are staying, that speaks volumes. What are y'all thoughts on this? How do you feel about the defensive linemen that we have staying?
Good. One change I would make on that is, from my understanding, Jamarian Latham is going to be doing a position change. He's going to be moving to Wolf linebacker.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So the staff wants him to shed about 15 pounds or so and move to the. But the thing I have with that is, I think if you don't make a quick edge defensive lineman, I don't think you'll make a good edge line. You know what I'm saying? Be quick enough to make an impact there.
I'm kind of.
I don't know. We struggled setting the edge like I talked about it, and he was one of those. So if he can contribute in that capacity, it'll be beneficial to us and him. But we shall see.
Yeah. What you thinking, JB?
I like the trio of Tim Kennan, James Smith, and LT Overton on the D line. I think it's their year. They're gonna have to show out. I mean, that's experience. James Smith's coming back. He wreaked havoc in the Michigan game. He had a coming out party.
Yes.
LT Overton could have went to the draft. He was hot on the draft board, late first, early second round. He's back. And just like Dan mentioned about Jamarian Latham making the switch, that edge, somebody's gonna have to win that job.
And
I like
you're missing one on the list. I think I'm looking at it. Unless I missed something, Edric Hill.
I didn't put him on here. I took it wasn't enough room. Like I said, this isn't comprehensive. I wanted the names that we talk about quite a bit here, or that we've been. But Edric Hill, he's another one. I think it's Isaiah Faya as well.
Isaiah Faga.
Yeah. He's another one that would still be. He's still at Alabama for now, but let's see what happens there.
But Quay Russo, but Joe Renard, he got a lot of playing time later. So I don't. That's a deep group there. Group. Yes, it is. So it's gonna be interesting to see after the spring, who still sticks around.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and this just gives everyone a visual, because we sit here and we keep hearing about guys in the portal, but it's like, well, just like you mentioned LT Overton, Damani Jackson, he could have gone to the draft. Exactly. He would have been. Yeah. So the fact that they want to come back, it speaks volumes. Let's look at the next slide of who we have. Actually, I think I could do that. All right. So then looking at just some of the linebackers that, are coming in from the 2025 class, and then certain ones, like I said, it's not comprehensive, but we have certain names that we either have already seen or that we have kind of high expectations of. So this actually shows the linebackers, but then also some of the special team. Now, a couple of those special team guys, the punter and that long snapper, we mentioned them a couple weeks ago. Those were guys that we made offers to. So not necessarily transfer portal guys per se, but looking at some of the linebackers that are coming in. We talked about Justin Hill, and I believe that's the guy out of Ohio, highly rated. Ohio State couldn't pay him enough to get him to come there because he want to come to Alabama. So what are y'all thoughts here? Look at Deontay Lawson's name there, Justin Jefferson, and hopefully Kane Womack now sees the importance of having an extra linebacker in there when we're trying to stop the run. But how do y'all feel about it, especially these 4 linebackers that we have coming in?
Yeah, that's an excellent blend of youth and experience.
Yeah.
Excellent blend. Yeah. So it actually worked out, with guys leaving, guys coming back. I say we came out in the plus. Yeah. You
got to make room for those 2025 guys, man. Luke Metz, I'm excited about him. You mentioned Justin Hill, highly regarded. Everybody's talking about he's going to be an impact player. Abdullah Sanders.
Yes, very, very athletic. Played both sides, in high school at modern day, very effective. And Duke Johnson, outstanding athlete. Yeah, so it's. I mean, we got some athletic guys coming in. They recruited their type of linebackers, for this 4-2-5 defense.
And also, it's going to be good getting this kicker in. We have a couple other guys, but we have to keep in mind too that Graham Nicholson, he's out of eligibility after this previous season, so he won't be returning. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Blake Dowd, this guy is really good. Y'all need to go and look at some of his film. He's good. And then let me move forward to office, y'all. We've been talking about the offensive line. and it's more than this, but these are the ones that we've either already seen or they were highly touted coming to Alabama this past season or the season before. So we see the ones at the top that are coming in with the 2025 class, right? But now Tay Haywood, that one is still a verbal commit. I know that we've been pushing to get him, but I believe in a couple weeks he has a visit to Michigan coming up. So I don't know if we'll be able to solidify that one. I don't know, man. I'm hoping that we can, but Michigan, they throwing in those big bucks, man. I don't know. It would be a huge pickup for us.
Other suitors are gonna emerge. You can believe
he got a lot of visits.
And then he's from Texas, right? So I'm sure.
Yeah. Originally from Mississippi, moved to Texas, I think, in the 9th grade, 8th or 9th grade. Yeah.
Well, so how do y'all feel? Because Jaden Roberts announced that he's coming back. I think he made that announcement yesterday. He could have very well went to the draft as well. And I'm hearing that it's certain schools, Ohio State and Nebraska, that are tampering and trying to go after Jaden Roberts. So
definitely tampering now with the portal being closed.
Exactly. So let's kind of keep our eyes on that. But then Parker Brailsford coming back, of course, Ola Salenin, Caden Proctor. Now we know that Elijah Pritchett, he did hit the portal, and I heard that he committed to Nebraska. But how do y'all feel about just who we have here? Like I said, there are other guys as well, but then we have the two that are coming in from the transfer portal, Dewberry from Texas A&M, and then the one from Ball State. So you have some experience there. Now, of course, Arkell is coming from the FCS. So, maybe that's a little, we know it's a little different there. But how do y'all feel about this? I know, Dan, you've raved a lot about, I believe it was Michael Carroll and maybe Mike. Yes. So how do you feel about what you're seeing here?
Man, I love it. Still the best offensive line class in the country, I think, with or without Ty Haywood. And man, I love what I saw from Michael DeBose at on. I'm telling you, man, he really impressed me. I was, pleasantly surprised to see, he shedded weight, got his body in good condition, and man, he packs a punch, and that's what I look at when I look at interior lineman. This guy is going to be a contributor. He's going to be a contributor, a major contributor at University of Alabama. I love what I saw from him. He's another one in those long lines of the Deontay Browns, the in-state guys, that we had. So yeah, I expect that to continue with him. A major contributor, nice in-state pickup with Mike DeBose.
Yeah, agreed. JB, any thoughts on the O-line?
I agree with Dan. This is a great class. Haywood, even if we don't have Haywood, this is still a great class. We have the 2025 guys. Right tackle, we got to get us a right tackle. We lost Elijah Pritchett. I want to see if Wilkin Formby can improve and lock down that position. We're going to have guys probably fighting for that position because it's needed. So if Wilkin Formby can play better, improve. He was a freshman last year, struggled a little bit, played well in other instances. But Parker Brailsford, Jaden Roberts, and Caden Proctor are the leaders on that offensive line. Let's see who else comes in and fills the holes.
Looking promising there. And then in the chat, drop y'all's thoughts here. What are you thinking? Of course, as far as the QBs, there are others as far as our official roster, but the three that we've been talking about the most, of course, Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, Keelan Russell coming in. He's actually in Tuscaloosa now. So I mean, that's what we're looking at right now. We know it's going to be a QB battle, right? And so we just gotta. But we have a lot of good things to look forward to in terms of the quarterback position. But then running back, of course, we have A.K. Deere coming in. This guy, he's going to go off. I think he's going to do great things at Alabama. We mentioned Draylon Washington earlier as far as getting him out of the portal. But, of course, Jam Miller is coming back, which is exciting. We lost Justice Haynes, but we have Richard Young, and this guy is explosive. Daniel Hill and Kevin Riley. So any thoughts on this? How do y'all feel about the running back room? And then how do y'all feel about that QB battle that's coming up?
QB battle's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot and heavy.
It's gonna be hot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can all agree that Ty Simpson should be the leader in the clubhouse. He's the most experienced guy on the roster. He's been here. He's coming on his senior season. He should be the guy. But Keelan Russell coming in confident. He wants to start. He wants to play. Austin Mack's familiar with Kelly and the boy. He came over with him. Familiar with the playbook. So it's going to be interesting this spring to see who comes out on top. And the running backs, I like the good mix we got. I hope we can keep these guys. You know, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley. Hope we can keep them. But I want to see a lot of Richard Young this season.
Yeah, I believe we definitely will see a lot of him. Dan, how do you feel? I mean, because honestly, AK Deer is one of those guys. I know that we're gonna have to see him, during A Day and see what he can do out there. But I want to see him out there, man. I feel like when you watch his film, and then you hear how Bo Scarborough, one of our best running backs in the last decade that we had for Alabama, when you hear how he speaks about him and how he essentially said that he kind of sees himself, when he sees AK Deer out there. I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel like this running back room we could potentially lose one of the guys, or what do you feel?
You never know, so the depth chart, early in the season could look completely different, 3 months down the road. So it's gonna be interesting, how we can keep, this much talent and physical specimen in the running back room that we have. So we got to show that we're willing to run the ball a little more. And I think we have the quarterback that we have now. They're more susceptible to handing the ball off. We're still gonna use the RPOs and the read options. So I expect our running back definitely to be more involved in our running game. So
I agree.
we even so in the passing game, I like what Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, Richard Young, even Jan Miller. We seen him wheel routes. So all these guys they're able to play all down. So definitely got to like what you see, and we got the size, with the AK Deer, the Richard Youngs, Jan Miller, these big guys. Draylon Watson, no small guy. Daniel Hill's a big physical guy. So I expect it to be real competitive, and definitely when you got a lot of competition, you tend to lose guys, but unfortunately, it is what it is, so it's just a matter of being able to keep everybody engaged, We got our 6, 7, what is that, 7 right now? 6 there. Yeah, 6. So yeah, that's definitely what you want to have, at least, because you think about the years we got to the end of the season, and we had to use Kenyon Drake with a broken arm, and we had to use Christian Leary at running back, so you got to have depth, and you got to keep these guys healthy. So we got to right here again. You got a lot of youth. Mixed with a little veterans. So we shall see. You don't want one running back hogging all the carries.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Jan Miller, we know what you can do. You probably want to save your carry for the NFL. Get into your second contract.
Right.
Let's see what we got. Let's get into this spring ball and summer camp, and go from there.
Yeah. Well, it looks promising. And like I always tell the chat, drop your comments in there. If you're just tuning in, like I said, this is not a comprehensive list. There are other guys when you look at the official roster. But this is just kind of, what we're looking at high level that we've been talking about a lot here on the show. Now, I want to get into receivers, both tight ends and wide receivers. So we already talked about a couple of the guys coming in from the portal, but then from the tight end perspective, we have Caleb Edwards coming from the West Coast. We have Marshall Pritchett coming as well. Going to be huge additions, but we still have Jay Lindsey, and then we had Danny Lewis Jr., who's been with the team a couple years, and he did enter the portal, and then he withdrew his name, so that's going to be huge. And then also Josh Cuevas, who we had gotten in from Washington this past season, so that's going to be huge. But then also the wide receivers, Lacier Brooks, and then Derek Meadows coming in with the 2025 class. Of course, Isaiah Horton, and I believe that the key component with Isaiah is going to be that he already has that experience, and then to have guys like Derek Meadows, Lacier sit behind you, even just to kind of learn, just to develop behind the Ryan Williams, the Jeremy Bernards. And then, of course, we get Jalen Hale back, Cole Adams. Cole Adams was injured at the end of the season. Rico Scott, Bubba Hampton. So questions. Dan, I'll start with you on this one. How do you feel about these receivers that we see so far, tight ends and wide receivers?
Yes, I love was what I see. You know, we don't have the big 5-star tight end that you know that you love to have, but you know, we got guys that contribute. You know, and I think Quavers was our best tight end. You know, I love Marshall Pritchett. I think he's going to be very
Yeah.
good. I really like him.
He's going to go off.
We had him on the channel, you know, and man, I love his mindset, his mentality. You know, I think he's going to be very successful at the capstone. Derek Meadows, you know, he alleviates me being so upset of losing Caleb Odom because I think he has a higher upside at the wide receiver position because of his speed alone. You know, he brings speed with the size. So I love Derek Meadows, Lacia Brooks, lightning in a bottle, you know, a la Jalen Waddle, you know, very explosive guy, very explosive young man. You know, you know, he's undersized, but listen, he can go and high point the ball with the best of them. You know, Ryan Williams, very outstanding. You know, Isaiah Horton, the big physical receiver. So we got depth. You know, got Jeremy Bernard, a veteran possession receiver. You know, so we still got the Jalen Hills, the Rico Scott, like what we saw from him at the end of the year. Cole Adams, you know, so this is hey, you know, the cupboard isn't bare at the wide receiver position. You know, we lost guys like Emmanuel Henderson, Kendrick Law, but the thing about it, I said it all along, those guys were guys that had to be schemed into the game plan. You can't expect them to go out there and run a pivot route, post corner, you know, flag route, dig route. That's not their thing. They weren't crafted to do that. You know, so they were athletes playing the position. We were trying to, you know, Kendrick Law more so of a running back in high school, you know, just athlete. Played a little wildcat quarterback, you know. So Emmanuel Henderson was a running back. You know, he got to switch to wide receiver when he got on campus. So, you know, he was still learning the position. So now we got some natural wide receivers, you know, guys that, you know, can get into the route, understand the route concept, you know. So I think we upgraded the wide receiver room.
Definitely. And then JB, how do you feel about what you're seeing here so far?
I like it, man. This wide receiver room, it looks pretty deep to me. I know we lost a lot, but I almost forgot we got Derek Meadows, Lancia Brooks coming in. You know, these are two guys who can be explosive. Derek Meadows, big guy, fast, man. You kind of Mike Evans a little bit. Get a little Mike Evans from him. He's about 6'5", I think. Ain't Meadows about 6'5"?
Yeah, he's up there. Yeah.
So, but I'm excited for Jalen Hale coming off that injury. You know, he missed the whole season. He's gonna be hungry. He was out there practicing with the team with the leg brace on, practicing for the bowl game. So I'm excited to see him. Cole Adams was great when he was on the field. He got injured. So Cole Adams and Jalen Hale is gonna come in. They're gonna get reps probably spring, hopefully in the spring A-Day. But the big three to me in the wide receiver room, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, and everybody else is going to have to get in where they fit in. Tight ends, I like Josh Quavers. I think he starts at tight end. I know Danny Lewis Jr. came back. We got Jay Lindsey with experience. But Quavers, I think he knows the system. He's going to start, and he's probably going to get more playing time now that C.J. Dupree is gone and Robbie Oops.
And very, very underrated receiver.
Yep.
Very underrated.
True. He is. So it's ultimately it's gonna come down to who we have at that coordinator position, to be honest. I mean, Jamarcus Shepard, he's gonna have to develop the receivers, and of course tight ends would need to be developed. But I feel like it's gonna come down to the play calling, especially this upcoming season, because it's not gonna be any excuses at that point. Even O-line. I mean, if Kaplivic, if he needs some help, we need to get him some help, because you know it makes no sense to have a Keelan Russell, whoever we put out there at the QB position, just to kind of have some of the same issues that we had before, you know. So fingers crossed, but hopefully that kind of gave, you know, the viewers an insight on what we're working with, so that we're not kind of focused too much on who's leaving. Now, we did get a couple of super chats that I want to address, and we appreciate it. Let's see who we have. All right, another for Don Parker. Thank you. I supported Bama since the Bear. Let's keep it 100. Big worm pulling up with all the bluebell made these players soft. Hope they got to show me. Well, maybe it did.
Hey, Don P started somewhere, man. That may be the starting point.
Possibly. I don't know. And then another from Smoke Man. We need to drop the notion that small schools don't have great athletes. True. Our losses in close games already prove that that's wrong. Play the best freshman through senior. I agree.
Right.
I agree. And that's, I mean, look at what Coach DeBoer did at Washington. They didn't have a bunch of quote unquote five-star players come. Look what they did, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Now, okay, and then Smoke Man, I hear you all being excited about the wide receiver, but if we don't change the OC, we are cooked, Nick. So, yeah, Nick. Yeah, I mean, we might need to put Nick Sheridan just over the tight ends.
Is Smoke Man really Matt Cadell?
I don't know who it is. But shout out to you for the super chat. We appreciate it. All right. And then I have to give a shout out to our other sponsor, whitwellsports.com. Be sure to check them out. We always tell you that your game day is not the same without the title towel. Be sure to show them some support. We have their website below in the banner. Be sure to order yours so that you have it in time for the spring game. I know it's, a couple months away, but still. Be sure to use promo code STANDARD for an exclusive discount. Now, we do have our Q&A segment, but before we get into that, I do want to mention that our men's basketball team is actually on right now. They're playing right now. They're playing, I believe, South Carolina. And so, I mean, I don't know. We're up 63-45. Okay, awesome. Shout out to our men's basketball. We're ranked number 5. Came off of a big win against Oklahoma. That was our first SEC game. And then it's our second week in a row where our player, LeBaron Philon, he has been named SEC Player of the Week, SEC Freshman of the Week. Yes, twice in a row. So that's awesome. But I wanted to mention something to y'all. Women's basketball, I'm still confused. I don't know. I mean, maybe we need to kind of, I don't know. The AP poll has our girls at number 18. Number 18. We're 15-1, right? We're 2-0 in our conference. It doesn't make any sense to me because we've already played and we've won our conference game so far. Why are we number 18? Like, are they using different metrics when it comes to the poll for the men versus the women? Look at the teams that they have ranked ahead of our girls. Like, you logically cannot explain it. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's all right. Long we get in the dance. I don't care. Basketball.
Dance. No, like this isn't right. Like our girls, they've been going off.
Listen, it's gonna work out for us. Us being it'll work out.
Yeah. Well, it's not like football, so we don't have to be in the top 12 to make the playoffs.
True. But I guess my point is that fair is fair. Fair is fair. At the end of the day, you have people who just look at the numbers. They're not watching all these games. So what does that sheet of paper tell them when they see Alabama? You know what I'm saying? Like, just get this right, because I don't like it. I like what our girls are doing this.
Just ask them 15 teams that lost to us. So
true. Exactly. Well, our next game, they have a game actually tomorrow. They're going to play Texas at Texas. And then we have Ole Miss at Ole Miss this Sunday. Now, I am curious how that's going to play out because I know that they're supposed to get some bad weather in Texas. So we'll see. And I know that our guard, Sarah Ashley Barker, she actually got injured in our game against Florida. So she missed the game against Missouri. But they're saying that she's day-to-day. They don't know if she's going to play tomorrow. So we shall see. But any thoughts as far as the Tide Hoops before we get into the Q&A, and then we'll try to wrap up?
LeBaron Philon will be a NBA lottery pick. You heard it here. I said it. It only took me about 3 or 4 games to see him play and see this guy's the best player on the basketball team.
He is.
We love Mark Sears and Grant Nelson, but LeBaron Philon is the best NBA-ready player on the team. And I don't know what he's doing tonight because we've been on the show, but they putting belt to ass right now.
Hey, and Darian Reed, he's right there. And I'm telling you another one that's very, very underrated. And I think he's NBA material. And that's Mo Diabate.
Oh, yeah.
I love his length and his perimeter defense. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Very similar to Herb Jones. He's just a sophomore, second-year player. But, man, this guy's going to truly develop into probably the best player on the team.
Yeah.
He could be one of those 4-year guys like her. Pay your dues.
Right.
True. I agree. All right. Well, let's get into some of the questions and then we'll get ready to wrap up. Let's see what we got. I know I saw some drop in the chat earlier. So shout out to Monica Petway. How do you feel about Bernard, Sapp, Latham, Jackson, Roberts, and Jefferson all coming back next season? Man, how do we feel? I'm elated. I mean, I know that a lot of people focus more on like the so-called bad news with people leaving, but to me, what speaks volumes are the ones who could have left and have chucked, because I believe that Jeremy Bernard, he could have gone to the draft, right? I don't know where he was as far as his stock, but he could have gone. And Dan, how you feeling? Because I see that brick wall.
Yeah, I'm ready to run through it, baby. I'm ready to run through it. That's how I'm feeling, Monica.
Okay, well, how you feeling, JB?
Those are going to be leaders on the team. I think, when they come back, you see this poster behind me, they're going to be on the poster for A-Day. Some of those guys are going to be on the poster for A-Day, and they're going to be – we need some good leaders. And, the Saban regime is over. We can stop talking about Nick Saban. This is year 2 for the boy. This is mostly his people, pretty much all of his guys. So let's just let him cook. Let the boy cook. So
okay, let him cook.
I like
and
all
like
the
you
guys
said,
that came back.
And what they need to do with the belt, JB?
Oh, yeah. We are built the ass. You already know. You already know.
That's
I'm excited.
hilarious.
I'm really excited.
All right. What's the next question? Okay, shout out to Chuck Baker. You got. I had a feeling one of y'all were gonna pull y'all belt off. I should have known it was gonna be you, Dan. I just should have known. Okay.
Hold the britches up.
I know. Don't stand up. Okay, shout out to Chuck Baker. If Grubb comes to Alabama, will he bring a new brand of ice cream for the players? Look, I don't think he bringing no ice cream, no Little Debbie, no Big Deborah. He bringing any of that.
Hey, listen, if your name is Grubb, you got to bring some food.
Well, I don't know. Maybe get some type of sponsorship with Grubhub. You heard it here first. I'm just
bring
saying.
some gunpowder. That's what you bring. Feed them gunpowder.
True. You might come down with an attitude. I don't know. Hopefully we can get him though. Fingers crossed. Yeah. All right. Shout out to Tough as Nails. From 1 to 10, will Alabama make the playoffs next year? 10, 20.
Yes. 10.
I mean, all the way. 10. Look, I told y'all to drop in the live chat #Natty. Like, I wasn't just saying that just to be funny. I mean, I was just saying we didn't link. We got linked this past season, but I think this upcoming season, I just don't see why not. I mean, assuming that we get the right, coaches and all that. But
yeah, one thing about us, the Alabama fans, they were like, "Oh, when is it going to be over? It's going to be over." We didn't enjoy the ride that we had with Nick Saban. Now that we're still doom and gloom, but hey, I'm very excited about the future of Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean, 9-4. Right, which should have been really, man. The only loss that I would be okay with out of this entire past season would have been the Tennessee one, and even then, I didn't want to see us lose that one. But everything else, it was just unfathomable. I mean, anyway, no, I say 10.
I thought that Vanderbilt one was just gonna light a fire under us.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost lost to South Carolina.
Right. It seemed to hurt us more than it helped us.
Right.
Yeah.
So, true. All right. What's next? Shout out to Joe Edwards. Do you all think we need to improve our strength and conditioning coaches because we got pushed around a lot, especially on the O-line? Yeah. It hadn't been the same since we lost Cochran, right?
It hasn't been. The fire and the intensity. I mean, overall strength and conditioning wise, I would think Baloo is a better strength and conditioning coach. But one thing about Scott Cochran, he had the guys up here, and that's 80% of it right there. Having it up here, the mentality. Baloo, he's not energetic on the sideline. He might as well be in the library.
Not the library.
Cochran, he's bouncing around the guys. Man, even in the playing music, on the field doing practice. That's one thing, man. But showing that intensity in the weight room, on the field, on the sidelines, 100. Always on go. That was Scott Cochran. That was him, and man, that was mentality, you know, and the team took on that mentality, you know, and with Baloo is more so, you know, he's on the sideline, arm folded, you know, he's not very engaged, you know, to say. So that's the biggest difference I see.
Yeah. Makes a huge
I agree.
impact.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Philip Kihei. Anything on Grub? Nothing yet. Look. I think the timing of it couldn't have been better. And I say that to say, I know it sucks for him to get fired, personally for him, but from a timing perspective, all of this around the same time. Look at this time last year when Coach Saban left. You think about the timing of things. I'm looking at it from that perspective, and I'm thinking, okay, him getting fired around, which I know the timing for the NFL, that was a part of it as well, but him getting fired when he did around the same time that we need to hurry up and bring somebody in if we are going to get ready for, spring ball. I think we're gonna hear something very soon. But who would be the runner up if it's not Grubb? Who else? I mean, do we just stick with Nick Sheridan, or is there someone else that we have our eyes on? Do y'all know?
I say JB.
I mean, he's talking about what he's gonna do with that belt, so maybe that's what they need.
Run the ball.
True.
I don't know, man. I if it's not Grubb, I think we stick with Sheridan. To be honest, I haven't been hearing any rumblings besides Grubb.
But I said on our post game show after we lost to Michigan in that bowl game, ReliaQuest, I did say that it could be a strategic move to keep Nick Sheridan, just to see if the issues that we were seeing this past season had more to do with just the production of the players, or if it had more to do with the offensive play calling. Because I have a feeling that there was more that we could have done, but maybe Nick Sheridan was kind of limited on the plays that could be called. So if by chance we don't get Grubb and we have to stick with Nick Sheridan, that may not necessarily be a bad thing. Who knows? All right, shout out to Linda P. We have not seen you in a while. Chris, where's your mama? Does she know? Does she know where you're that you're a closet Bama fan? And just for those who don't know, she's talking about one of those little Auburn fans. He's an Auburn fan, Chris Williams. I mean, he does show love. We do appreciate it. We've asked him before to come on this show as a special guest, and of course, Auburn fans, they can't put their money where their mouth is. They just like to run their mouths. They write checks that they can't cash, basically. But he never wanted to come on and join us, so Linda just had to call him out a little bit. So we appreciate you, Linda. Thank you. Auburn think they doing something. Shout out to Brian Russell. What are y'all thoughts on losing a monster? Like we were just talking about Justin, because that was a shocker. Justin and also Sterling Dixon.
Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, he was passed up on the depth chart. And that had something to do with it. But of course, a guy first year in the States, you give him a lot of money. Yeah. To bring his family, that's a lot of money to a guy first year in the States,
Yeah.
Offer money, of course he's gonna jump on it. So that's just a situation where tampering with evidence. But he was passed up on the depth chart by Caden Jones, but Caden Jones got hurt. And that's the reason we saw more of Okoronkwo towards the end of the year. But with Deontay Lawson coming back, Justin Jefferson getting another year. Nikhil Hill-Green, coming in. I guess he felt that, his road to playing time, playing time was too much to overcome. So, he made his decision, and the staff was ready for it. They'll live with it.
Yeah. A lot of these guys probably didn't catch the staff by surprise. It caught us by surprise, but not the staff. And Okoronkwo was the standout last year at A-Day. I remember him. He had like 10 tackles. He was a standout. Yep.
I wonder how. Well, I mean, I guess whatever they're seeing in practice.
A-Day, is sometimes is a big lie.
True.
Sometimes, man, I remember, man. I remember some A-Day game where I was like, oh, this guy's gonna contribute. Never contributed.
Was Ajayi Hall one of those?
Yes.
I remember,
I remember him. He had like 2 touchdowns a day. I remember
he went off. He went completely off. Yeah.
It went off the rails.
And I heard that he found another school.
Sacramento State.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully
He
that'll
gonna play
be.
lacrosse, Danny.
What'd you say?
I said he gonna play lacrosse, Danny. And now I'm just joking.
You talking about like Tyler Buckner did when he went
Yeah.
back to
Then he came back and he switched to receiver now, right?
he was switched to something.
Yeah, he switched to receiver.
I mean, I guess you just gotta, figure out
God.
whatever it is that you should be doing. I don't know. All right. What else do we have? Where's Rock Montgomery? Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah, we didn't miss
mean,
him. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
he
another one.
but we didn't really see much of him this past season, right?
Yeah, we saw him. He was with the second unit.
He
Yeah,
wasn't
so
doing a whole lot,
I think he worked his way up to the second unit. So I expect him to be another. Yeah, he's built like a tank.
Mhm.
Not long, but he's short, compact, and man, he's very physical, very very hard to move. But he's more of a run blocking guy. So you know,
is he guard or
Got
tackle?
to utilize. I'm sorry.
Is he guard or tackle?
He's interior guy, center and guard.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
I remember seeing him on the field. I think the boy fussed at him one time. I remember seeing
Yeah.
that.
I'm interested to see what happens there, though, because we're bringing in Cam Dewberry from Texas A&M, and he's also interior guy. So we'll see what happens there. Shout out,
very good on the interior.
Yeah. It's just a tackle.
Wealthy on the interior. Yeah, just a tackle.
Yeah.
But even with Caden Proctor coming back on the left side, I mean, he kind of struggled this season.
Yeah, but he improved. He improved a lot.
Yeah.
Just that show you how poorly he played last year. But
That's
he improved
true.
a lot. Yeah.
That's true. All right. Shout out to Kennethy. We see you a lot in our chat. Shout out to you. Did we lose Pritchard or did he lose us? He I'm gonna be quiet.
Yeah.
He lost us.
Yeah. Let's give him a round of applause.
Yeah, he kind of struggled. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting way to word that question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we have one more question. Oh, another super chat. Shout out to Smoke Man. Nah, I'm born and raised in Louisiana, Brantley, Alabama. 22-year Army veteran. Cadell was clutch. Matt Cadell was clutch. Grubb doesn't want to move to Bama. Russell will outduel the QBs. Well,
Oh, that's a bold take there, Smoke Man.
oh,
yeah.
Lower. That's what LA stand for. Lower Alabama. I'm a bit like. I didn't know. Look, I didn't know y'all be abbreviating that. Lower Alabama. I'm like Louisiana, LA. I'm like, you bouncing all over.
It's a Southern Bama thing.
Bless it, Lord. Bless it. I promise I'm like LA. All right.
We appreciate you, Smoke Man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, one other super chat. Shout out to Don Parker again. Let's see who is committed, and that includes Coach Proctor is weighing more than 320. If he's weighing more than 320, I'm gonna be pissed off to the highest level of passivity. I know, right?
Don Parker, you definitely old school, brother. Yeah. You the guy.
Passivity.
Probably gonna be about 360
around, man.
Oh gosh.
He'll come in about 360. You know that.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a very big guy. So just his bones alone, he gonna be a 330 at least. Just he can be skinny and be 330.
No, he was almost at 400, and then he dropped down to 369. And he looks
big bone.
Yeah.
Not big bone.
Big bone.
Yeah, he big boned.
Yeah.
Not big boned. I hadn't heard that phrase in so long. Big boned. Okay. All right. Well, just so that the viewers know, being that the football season has ended for now, we have come to the agreement that starting basically this week, we're going to just do a show every other week. So we're not going to have one next week. We'll be back the week following, but we'll probably drop some content throughout the week though. That'll be some uploads to the channel, but just because it's not a whole lot going on right now with, football. Now, if by chance something big happens and we need to go live, you'll know we'll have, things set up.
We're basketball school now.
No, we not. We football and basketball, not even just men's basketball, but women's too, because we shouldn't just be ranked at number 18. They need to get that right. We need to get that right quickly. So just keep that in mind if y'all are looking for us next week. As of right now, we're planning to just move forward with every other week. And here we go. See, Auburn has no relevance. Auburn has
admitted it. He don't care about.
Man, listen, this right here is the funniest guy on YouTube.
I bet you don't.
This guy here, man.
I mean, it took him their whole season of failure last year is what it took for him to not care much about Auburn anymore.
Oh,
Y'all been playing like that, Chris. I mean,
Chris, man, I'm telling you, guy, you something else.
I think
But
he's confused. I think he's just confused.
He
Bless
said
the Lord. Bless it.
You know what I'm saying? You got to love that from him.
Right. Well, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And then really quickly before we drop our socials, we do have Teague's Take tonight at 8:15 Central Standard Time. He's actually going to be doing a film study trying to just focus and break down on if Jalen Milroe tipped off defenses during games. So that's going to be big because I've seen people saying that and I was like, I'm not really sure, but he's going to do a deep dive into that. And then we have Going Hard in the Paint tomorrow, Thursday, 7:30 Central Standard Time. So be sure to tune in. Now, do y'all have any other shows that you want to mention? Any social media? And Dan, I'll start with you on this one. Anything from your side?
Yes, tune in Tuesday nights right here on this channel, the Final Whistle. Wednesday nights right here, the Crimson Dynasty.
Every other week.
Every other week now. I'm semi-fired.
No. We just look but the thing is that because we have a lot of really good content here on the channel, we don't want it to get to a point where we're basically like redundant and we're regurgitating the same topics, so we'll do that at least for the next few weeks, and then as things start to pick up, we'll be back to the
That's a new word now. That's your new word, regurgitate now.
Regurgitate, but I'm raggedy,
Molly Wop.
Regurgitate. Yeah, we don't want to but I want y'all to drop in the chat though, as we upload more specific content throughout the week, more so short form videos. Are there any specific topics or any, I guess, specific content that you want to see us make? Anything is specific, whether it's, seeing Dan go on a rant, seeing JB talk about belt to, just whatever y'all like to see, drop it in the chat. Let us know so that we can make sure we have it curated for y'all.
Yeah, I'll upload some pet pics.
Please don't. Do not get us banned. Do not get us banned, Dan the man.
They're jumping, see?
This is not OnlyFans, man.
I know.
We don't do that here. We are a Christian channel.
What's wrong with flexing, man? Look at that, man. Look at them guns, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to we need a baptism for Dan. He doesn't look. What's your New Year's resolution, Dan?
My New Year's resolution, I already made it. It was to come in on 2 feet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A couple of years ago, I came in on 4-wheel drive. You know what I'm saying?
You are a mess. You're a hot mess.
I came in on 4. You know what I'm saying? This year I came in on 2. I walked into 2025 standing up upright.
Okay. What brand of ice cream? Well, I prefer gelato, to be honest. So
look at you. Gelato.
I know.
You so bougie.
Leave me alone.
You from Buckhead, aren't you?
Give me my
ice cream. Give me that pet board of great value. You know what I'm saying? Ice cream is ice cream. You know what I'm saying? It all does the same.
Gelato is not ice cream. But anywho, did you already say your shows and socials, or were you just talking about your pecs there?
See that? You missed all that. See how distracting it is? See that?
Oh my gosh. You are a mess.
But catch me on X. I didn't say that. Catch me on X at the Final Whistle Dan. There you go.
Final Whistle Dan.
Y'all hit that little button down there.
And I was just gonna say he probably have his OnlyFans link in his bio too.
Final Whistle Dan.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Be sure to subscribe. All right, JV. Any other shows?
And I ain't cheap either.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all don't pay Dan no mind. He acting up. But y'all can follow me on X, young_ENT_, on IG, Sports Talk with JB, YouTube. Go to my YouTube, subscribe, Sports Talking with JB. Happy birthday, Linda. Linda P in the chat. Happy birthday.
Shout out to Linda.
Yeah. And Sunday night talking Bama. Me, JT, Stephen M. Smith, and right here on the Crimson Dynasty. Wednesday night, CC and Dan the man.
Awesome. Linda, drop your Cash App and your Zelle and all that good stuff in the chat. Hey, Tell Chris to put that money where his mouth is. He do all that talk. He loves to run his mouth towards you, but tell him with his money. Train wreck 70.
Yeah, Sweet Home Bama 24. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that butter pecan.
Butter pecan be hidden.
Yeah. It used to be my stage name back in the day.
I bet it was. QB question is legit. If Russell wins the QB battle and McIntyre transfer, who do we have at backup? There are some other guys that we have, at least on the current roster. We just haven't seen them. Hadn't heard their names much. Seen them, but it's some because normally you're gonna have a good amount of QBs back there. You know,
I think we're going to hit the portal. If Ty hits the portal, if he doesn't win the job, which I expect him to hit the portal if he doesn't, because who wants to sit and be the backup for 4 years? I think we go in the portal and grab somebody. We have to, at least for experience-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that profile picture of Trainwreck, is that Dave Chappelle?
That's Dave Chappelle. I was looking at that. That's Dave Chappelle.
The hater.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, wait, he look like what's his name? Filthy McNasty.
Actually, Chris James. That's a picture from Rose Towers back in 2001.
That's the prom picture.
Oh,
hey, what they used to call him, Pope Pimp.
Pope Pimp. Oh man,
Silky Johnson. Oh God,
that was the name. Yeah.
Silky Johnson. Yeah,
Silky Johnson.
All right. And then you can find me on X at official Sishi, and then you can find me here, like I said, on Wednesday nights, every other Wednesday for now for the next few weeks. And then you can find me on Instagram at beauty_of_intelligence. And I may just make another Instagram account, and I'm thinking like I may want to call it something about like the raggedy schools, and just kind of shout out the raggedy schools, you know, since they want to get attention all the time, they like to come in our chat, or something about mollywopping, some specifically to Auburn. So we'll see. We'll see. And then let's see. Got a great topic video. Okay. Anywho, all right. Well, thank y'all for joining. And as of now, we'll see you 2 weeks from now. So be sure to tune in, and then be sure to come back throughout the week to see any content that we may drop. But other than that, y'all be safe and roll tide, roll.
Roll tide.